welcome back to my channel. I am so happy to be coming to you all as Mrs. McLaughlin. It feels so good to be home and to be sitting down and talking with you all again and just kind of back into the swing of things. My cat is still crazy. That has not changed. Finally having a place to call home. Our honeymoon was so relaxing. Perfect weather. We went to Florida. We drove there and it was like forever. Like there was construction and all of that, so it was definitely a long drive, but it was worth it. We had so much fun just relaxing and doing like nothing. And honestly, I know I have said this like a million times, but thank you all so much for all of the support and all of the love that you all have shared with us. Every comment that you've given, every message you've sent me, every gift that was given, if I know you personally, like we are so thankful. And I posted on Instagram this week just all of the surprise gifts, all the packages that have been sent to us, and we are so blessed. And I think it's crazy how much family is everything, and I think I'm realizing it more and more. Not that I've never like completely loved my family, but when you go through something like this that is so big and so important in your life, and it involves a lot of people and a lot of help, and you just see the people who are there for you, the people who show up to your wedding, the people who come to support you because they love you, and the sweet messages, the sweet gifts, like I am just so overwhelmed. And I know that my relationships with people are so important to me because they are the people that get you through times and bless you and bring you so much joy. I am way off topic right now. But anyways, I just wanted to kind of give you an update. It's fall, y'all. That's all I have to say. I am so freaking excited for fall. I have not got to decorate my house yet, but I'm going to, and when I do, I'll probably get to make my first home decor video. You all have no idea how much I have been waiting to be able to decorate and share it with you all and share my ideas, because that to me is so much fun. My house is still not like completely done. Like I have a couch. But yeah, so I'm super excited about that. I'm excited to share some fall recipes. I've mentioned it before, but I have a pumpkin dessert that is like delish. Tyler's already asking me for it, so I am just excited to be able to have the space, my own home, my own kitchen, the space to be able to share with you all things that I've never got to share with you all because it's not been like mine. Like I haven't been able to make it mine. So back to the point of this video, I am just going to kind of give you a few tips on creating your wedding timeline. This is how I did mine. I'm going to let you know what worked, what didn't work, how to begin the process of creating your wedding timeline. So just to let you all know that I am kind of a psycho organizer when it comes to events. I'm kind of a control freak when it comes to that, and I'm okay with admitting that because it's true. Like if I have a vision and like a production that is about to happen, I am going to make sure that it is pretty close to perfect. Nothing is perfect, but I want to make sure that my job is done, so whatever else is left to do, hopefully it just all falls into place. So with the wedding timeline, I will say it worked very well. I didn't really have any questions from any of the vendors or any confusion really with anything. I would suggest that start with your photographer. The reason being is because photography is a huge part of your wedding day. You want the pictures that you want, and like my photographer was my sister-in-law, so she already had kind of like a timeline of how photography usually goes, and you're gonna have to base your day kind of around that in a way. So what I did was I made a general timeline of like when I knew I wanted to start getting ready, when I knew the service started, when the reception should start. Like, it was very basic. My cat is literally listening to me right now. So once you kind of have the basic, like when you want to start getting ready, when you have to be at the church, how long it'll take to get to the church. Zoe, geez. Once you have that, then kind of send your general idea to your photographer. Honestly, if you just sent like your beginning, your middle, and your end. So start out when you know you have to start the day. When you know you have to be to the church, you can even put in there like what time you have to be ready by, so then that way you can figure out the first, like when to start getting ready. And then when the sermon starts, when the ceremony starts, when it's ended, and then when the reception or the exit is. That's a good start, I think. Email it to her and ask, like, how much time do I need to allot for your photography? Usually they'll already have like a general set schedule. They'll send it to you, and then you can incorporate it into your timeline and then build around that. So it's really just all about having a start, middle, and end, incorporating the photography times, and then filling everything in between. So I'll just run through mine really quick just to kind of tell you what aspects you might not have had. Just be aware that my ceremony started at 2. That is a little bit earlier than what some ceremonies are. A lot of people, like if they're outdoor, you'll have it at about 5 or 6, maybe even 7. So you just gotta kind of tailor it to that. This is my wedding timeline. I literally just put it on a regular sheet of paper, emailed it to all of my vendors, and also I will say, have them laying around. Like, I had them laying around the house. I don't know if anybody looked at them, but it's helpful. Like, what if your mom had no idea what was going on or something? They could just, if you have it posted, they can just look at it and, figure out where they're supposed to be or what's going on at a certain time. Definitely, this is when the director comes in so handy. I made the timeline myself. Some directors might make it for you, but they will keep you on this timeline from the very beginning. That is very important. You want to make sure you're sticking to the timeline as close as possible, but be realistic. Like, you're not going to be like bam, bam, bam. Like, stuff is going to take longer than what you probably expect. So when you're also doing your timeline, make sure that you think of like the what ifs. Like, am I really going to be ready by this time? Am I really going to be done with photography by this time? Add just a little bit more than what you think, like maybe 30 minutes more than what you probably would think. Now I'm really going to get into it. So I started out 10 o'clock. I had breakfast with my bridal party at my house. My mom was actually making that, so at 10 o'clock they were all here and we began to eat. I went ahead and I woke up a little bit earlier than that. Actually, my mother woke me up because she didn't know where a pie pan was. But once I was awake, I went ahead and sat down at my vanity and started getting ready, because if I had that little extra bit of time, use it. Anytime you have, use it. And I started getting ready a little bit by myself, and it was good because a lot of people wasn't here and I could just focus on me, and then I was just super relaxed. So 10 o'clock was breakfast with the bridal party. 10:30, the florist was to arrive to the church to drop off the flowers. At 10:30 also, the bride and the bridesmaids would be getting ready. At 11 o'clock, I had a director and she had a helper, so I had technically 2. At 11 o'clock, one director would go to the church to pick up our flowers to bring to my house from the church. So we all needed our flowers, like the bride, the bridesmaids, and the moms, because we were all getting ready here. So one of my directors had to meet the florist at the church while she was dropping off the ceremony flowers to bring us our flowers, and then spend the rest of the day with us to make sure we're on time and getting everything done. At 11:30, the groom and the groomsmen arrived to the church because they got ready at the church. At 12 o'clock, the groom and the groomsmen photos / video people were going to be on the church property. And then one of my directors were going to join them and make sure that to put their boutonnieres on for them. Also at 12 o'clock, my DJ would arrive to the reception venue to set up. Most of like the speakers and everything was already there, but that was for them. 12:45, bride and bridesmaids photos at Rachel's house. I did have this on here, but we ended up like the day of deciding that we didn't want to take pictures here. It gave us more time to get ready. It did cause us to run over after the church because we had to take more pictures there. So I like how it went, but I might would have went ahead and taken a few pictures here just because it took forever after the church to get all of ours done. After that, at 1 o'clock, the director was to ensure that the ceremony space was completely ready. The decorations were in place. At 1:20, the bride was to leave the house. We actually decided to leave at 1:10 to allow for more time to get to the space because there was a little bit of traffic. Because when my director came from the church to my house, she was like, it took me a lot longer than what you have planned. So we did end up getting to leave 10 minutes earlier, which did cut off some of that photography time that I talked about earlier. And then at 1:30, the cake arrived at the reception space. 1:45, bride arrives to the church dressed and ready in a holding room with the director. At 1:50, family is to be seated by escorts. 1:55, bridal party lineup. The director was to ensure bridal party is lined up correctly. 2 o'clock, the ceremony started. So at 2:30, the ceremony ended. 2:35, one director was to go to transport all the flowers from the ceremony to the reception space, make sure all the candles were lit at the reception space, and ensure setup was correct. Other director was supposed to stay and help us make sure that the photography and all that was going smoothly. At 2:35, the family photos would also begin with the photographer, one of the photographers. The second shooter went on to the reception space to make sure that they got all the photos of the reception space taken. At 3 o'clock, the bridal party photos began. So that's where we were at the church for quite some time getting those done. And then 3:20, bride and groom portraits. So right here is where I had 4 o'clock bridal party and parents arrive to venue and are announced in by DJ. That ended up being an hour later. So we didn't get to the reception space till 5, which also there was 30 minutes of travel time between that. So we didn't get there till 5 because we had to take more photos after the ceremony. And that was because we took it off of the time up ahead. So if you have enough time to take the pictures, looking back, I would say take them before rather than later, because one problem I had is I was draining. I was getting tired and I was getting so hungry, and I was like, I just wanted to be done with photos. But you really got to remember that you're going to cherish these forever. Like, you need to take as many as you can. But I felt like I was literally going to pass out because I was so hungry. So just be aware of that. So we were announced in, it says announced in at 4:05, bride and groom first dance. And then at 4:10, so right after the dance at 4:10, my mom was supposed to thank the guests for coming. 4:15, Kevin would pray over the food, and Kevin, who is Tyler's father, who is also a pastor, he was to pray over the food and ask guests to join in the celebratory meal, and dinner began. Around 4:40, the best man gave a toast. 5 o'clock, it was father-daughter dance. 5:05 was mother-son dance. 5:10, the dance floor was open and the bride and groom led the way, which, I mean, I guess we kind of did. 5, I think we did a little bit quicker than this. But remember, all of this 5 was actually 6 because we were an hour behind. But we did 5:40, cut the cake. 6 o'clock, bouquet toss. 6:30, bride and groom sneak out for sunset pics. And 9:30 was our exit. But we ended up leaving at 10 o'clock. So, and we didn't do like a legit exit because everybody does the sparklers, and I didn't want to do that, and I didn't know if you were even allowed to. So I kind of stayed away from that. And I was able to tell every single guest goodbye. Like, we were the last ones to leave the space. We did come back to my house before we went to the left for a honeymoon. So for me, an exit wasn't important. For you, that might be super important. So just kind of tailor your timeline to how you are and how your day is supposed to go. Just make sure that all the points that I listed, maybe jot them down, write down the things that you need to remember or maybe you didn't think of. And honestly, like, the timeline is key because communication is key. If you don't communicate with all your vendors and ensure that you are organized and have a set schedule, it's going to be chaos. Lucky for me, my wedding was pretty much perfect. Like, I'm not kidding, like, there was nothing went wrong. All of my vendors were where they were supposed to be. Nobody wasn't doing their job, and nobody was like confused that I know of, or else I didn't know of it and my directors handled it. So that is my wedding timeline. I hope that it kind of helped you kind of organize yours and figure out the way. Thank you all so much for watching my videos and subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe down below. And if you missed our ceremony, we filmed it live for you all. So if you ended up missing it, be sure to check that out. It is under, it's in my videos as well. I think it's like 2 back. And yeah, it was such a special day, and it is definitely a day that I will never forget. It was literally the best day of our lives. So if you're on your wedding planning journey, I wish you all the best. Stay organized and lead the way and stick to your guns. Make sure you do what you want to do. Don't let other people tell you what to do. It is your wedding, it is your dream, and I hope that it comes true for you. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you all in my next video. Bye guys.